Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On today's show, we're covering from 1982, Poltergeist. So this is one that Zap picked out, and I'm glad he picked this one out. It's the season of Halloween, and this is definitely one of those good movies you want to watch during this time of year. So this one has Craig T. Nelson in it, and it was a good one. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or Google, don't forget to follow us on there and leave us a review if you could, and also a 5-star rating. So sit back, relax, and enjoy from 1982, Poltergeist.
Hey, this is Matt.
And this is Dave,
And welcome to Vintage Cinema Review.
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Oh, hey, Zap, what do you got there?
Hey,
What are you loading up in the V.C.R?
so good to see you guys again.
Hey, hello.
You guys got to learn how to lock that door, man.
You got a key by now, man. It's all right.
Look, we're in the spooky Halloween season, man. You don't know who's going to be walking in here.
It's very, very frightening.
That's for sure. So
Yeah.
what do you got loading up there?
Loading up today, we're loading up Poltergeist.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
I like this movie.
We were actually talking about movies that would be good to do during this Halloween season and came up with a list, and this was on it. So
If you want to sit around with the family and put something spooky in before you go trick-or-treating or maybe like scaring the neighbors or go to like a haunted Halloween fest.
yeah, once again, rated PG, but could have been R, I think. But not, I mean, close.
There was a push for that.
Yeah, there was a push to make it PG, but
There were certainly some parts in here that definitely required some parental guidance after you see it.
It's suggested, though. You don't really need it.
right. So Poltergeist, 1982, rated PG. Runtime on this was 1 hour and 54 minutes. And the release date on this was June 4th, 1982. And so we would have been, what, like 6, 7 years old, I guess, when this came out? 5, 6,
That sounds
something
about
like
right.
that, you
Yep.
know? I definitely didn't see this till later on, but enjoyed it. Budget on this, $10.7 million. And the box office, $121.7 million.
That the juice was worth the squeeze on that one.
For sure, they made some money on this, and I'm not shocked.
What is that again? Juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, the
I
juice.
messed that up the other day.
The juice was worth the squeeze.
Yeah. So, Zap, you want to take us through the cast? On this?
Absolutely. So fantastic cast running through this movie. We have Coach himself, Craig T. Nelson, as Steve Freeling.
Very underrated actor, Craig T.
Indeed, indeed. We got Jo Beth Williams as Diane Freeling. I liked her in The Big Chill.
I don't remember that. I'd have to.
That was another all-star cast.
Was that later? That was later, or
Big Chill was, I gotta believe, was before this.
that was before it? Okay.
80 or 81.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
We got Beatrice Straight as Dr. Lesh. Dominique Dunn as Dana Freeling.
That was the teenage daughter, right?
Yeah, she was terrible.
She was.
I don't understand.
She seemed a little bit promiscuous.
Yeah.
She always had like hickeys.
There was implied promiscuity
Yes.
with that girl.
Hotel rooms.
On the phone late at night, hanging out with some dude that drives a red Trans Am.
Yeah.
That was a nice Trans Am, though. Yeah,
She knows what she was doing.
She was.
Well, the construction workers were on it, and I know that.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I
Like,
know, right? Like, dude.
they were giving her a sign, like, "Hey, baby!" Like the mom was standing right there and
Like
enjoying
laughing
it.
it off. Like, yeah. But that's the 80s. I mean, back then
It was, yeah.
kinda like-
That was the 80s.
Everything went. Just ask Harvey Weinstein, man. Everything
Sexual
went back
assault
then.
was just fine in
It
the
was just what it
80s.
was.
You can say whatever you want.
I mean,
it's the 80s.
obviously watching that, I was like, holy crap. I can't believe like the mom's looking out.
yeah, she thought it was funny.
Yeah.
She had pride in her daughter for taking those cat calls and then just turning it around into a middle finger.
Flipping it on him. Yeah.
But she did that weird, like, I didn't know if she was doing the Macarena or whatever that dance was for the middle finger.
A
Yeah.
very, very apt observation there, man. I thought that
Macarena.
was the Macarena for sure.
But it was like I will bite my finger. I'll do the Macarena, bite my finger, do something with my chin.
Did you do the fishing thing where you reel it in? and
No,
reel it up
it
the-
was-
I can't remember, but
It was
I just
odd.
watched it.
Yeah, it was like the hand Macarena dance with the hand almost going up to flick the finger, but she didn't yet. She held like the thumb symbol, then she did like a chin flick, and then
Flipped him off.
flipped the finger.
Yeah.
She practiced that. She knew what she was doing.
Oh, question though, real quick about her also is, was she like 13 in this, or was she maybe like 16 or 17?
I think she was like 16 or 17. That'd be my guess.
For sure, she was a teenager. For sure, she was in not college. I mean,
she was high school age.
High school-ish. Anyway, we also have Oliver Robbins as Robbie Freeling, Heather O'Rourke as Carol Ann Freeling, Michael McManus as Ben Tuttle, Virginia Kaiser as Mrs. Tuttle, Martin Casella as Marty.
Martin Costanza.
Yeah, they really thought long and hard on that guy. Oh. Hey, Martin, mind if we call you Marty?
Marty.
Good. That's your
remember
name.
It.
We got Richard Lawson as Ryan, Zelda Rubinstein as Tangina. Now, is it Rubenstein or Rubenstein?
Rubenstein.
Rubenstein.
So I think it's Steen. So if I recall my Germanic pronunciation correctly, when you have the E before the I, you're going to, either way, you're going to pronounce the first vowel. So this is Stein, so that would be Steen, versus an Stien, which would be Stein.
Except after C.
Yeah.
Yep. Always use LY. Right. So then we have James Caron as Mr. Teague. That's Mr. Teague.
I pity the poor fool.
That's right.
Mr. Teague.
Yes, Mr. Teague.
Was he in that?
Yeah.
Think of League, but Teague.
Okay.
Like Cheryl Teagues, but without the S. Lou Perry, not Luke.
Not Luke. From 90210 fame.
It was Lou Perry, maybe a distant relation to Steve Perry, as Pugsley, and Dirk Blocker as Jeff Shaw.
It's a cool porn name.
Dirk
Blocker.
Yeah, so that Zelda Rubinstein, that's one character that I really remembered. Like, I saw it maybe 2 years ago. I just watched it again. But from childhood, I just remember her being that older, like, creepy psychic lady.
She was also in the Wizard of Oz.
Was she in that?
Yeah.
The original Wizard of Oz?
Yes, that was her.
There's no way.
No.
Making stuff up.
Yeah, man. Was she the one that after the house landed on her? Because she looks a little compressed.
Like squashed.
No, she was
one of the
Munchkin people. The Munchkin people.
Oh, I did not know that.
The Lollipop Guild.
It was Craig T. Nelson was making references towards that in the movie. Well, he said, what side of the rainbow are we on today?
He's a mean-spirited dude.
He was. I didn't like that.
Well, before we forget, Matt, you got a little synopsis there.
A brief one.
Yeah, brief synopsis.
A brief synopsis of the movie Poltergeist. A circus of light and magic, a superior, spectacular ghost story, says Newsweek magazine. Fascinating, frightening, as suspenseful as they come, Poltergeist is unquestionably one of the most thrilling films ever made. This high-voltage, jolt-a-minute filmmaking at its compelling best. Producer Steven Spielberg from E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark presents director Tobe Hooper extraordinary ultra-fantastic excursion into the supernatural. Thanks to the wizardry of George Star Wars Lucas, industrial light and magic, Poltergeist delivers a non-stop spectacle of visual effects you simply have to see to believe. It's pure magic and incredible fun. It's a brief synopsis.
Right. 1982.
I'm roped in just hearing that. Yeah. I'm all in.
So actually, do you guys want to hear more then?
Oh, you have more?
Do tell.
There's a little more.
Oh, wow.
Give it to us.
All right, here we go. Life is very pleasant for the close-knit Freeling family until a host of outer-worldly forces invades the peaceful suburban home. It starts just as an odd occurrence or two, but soon their house is anything but friendly. They'll be all swept away into a nightmarish chaos. Astounding, absorbing, yet laced with humor and warmth, Poltergeist is a work of art, full of spine-snapping chills. Poltergeist.
Wow. That was a pretty long synopsis, but I guess...
Yeah, I tried to make it briefer at first. No. Is that a word? More brief?
I mean, hey, it's what they have on the VHS. Yeah. That's what we're always trying to read from. So that was from the back of the VHS.
I mean, you got to believe it. I like that they had the plugs from all the major news outlets, the Newsweeks of the world, the Time magazine, maybe.
Time?
Yeah, no. Putting out everything.
Washington Post?
Yeah. Yeah.
People?
Them too. It was a magazine. It's the first one that came to mind.
TMZ.
Right, so you guys will go through the facts here. There's a lot of cool facts on this movie that I was, surprised about, or it was cool to read about. So the word poltergeist is German. It's a German word for a noisy ghost.
Or to knock.
Is it to knock?
Yes.
Too? Okay.
It's based on the word poltern.
Mhm.
Is that how you would say it in the old German?
I don't know anything about the Germans.
The German, yeah.
It's to knock, and Geist is a spirit. So
they're the one that knocks, like Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first reference to that word was actually from the 1700s.
Oh, I did not know that.
Back in old Germantown. Not
Cool.
Pennsylvania, Germany.
We were talking a little bit before we got down here, and Zap brought up a cool fact about this, and I did read that despite being a horror movie, there's no kills in it.
Not a one.
Yeah, no murders, which, I thought that was shocking for a horror movie, but yeah, I thought that was a cool fact. I didn't really even think about it watching it,
Well, murdering somebody doesn't necessarily make it a horror movie because there was still plenty of dead people in this movie.
A lot.
True. Yeah, true.
Popping ups everywhere.
And their spirits.
Right.
You know what I found cool at the very beginning of this movie is how they had the TV screens, as we all would remember growing up, because there's only 4 channels and so forth.
Yep.
Right.
But when it would be around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, it would go to it would play the Star Spangled Banner, and it would show that exact same thing.
Yep.
And they would have the sign off, and it would turn into the
Right.
The white noise, the fuzz.
which I don't think kids know these days.
No, kids don't know what fuzz is.
Yeah.
No,
The only time they see fuzz is if the HDMI cable is not connected, and even then you're getting a black screen or something.
Yeah, they don't know.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know.
Just
Or
like-
you have something going across the screen.
Right. And there was a lot of Sony product placement in this. They obviously had, they were all Sony Trinitrons.
Noted.
throughout the whole house.
Although 82, this might be before the Trinitron.
It was a Trinitron on the.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave knows the TV
yeah.
business.
That's true. This is AV.
Yeah.
AV Davy.
No, they were. And actually, I noticed something. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know anybody in the 80s that was balling out enough to have a console TV in their bedroom like that.
That was was really something, man.
Yeah. I looked at, and not only that, he had an Atari 2600 on top. So
In his bedroom?
Yes.
That was,
yeah, it was in the parents' bed, and Craig T. Nelson, in his bedroom, him and his wife. I picked up on that. And I was
Did you see the 212s on top of the stands
Yeah,
in the living room
AVs,
also?
or
Yeah, he had
the
a
hi-fi, yeah.
he had a hi-fi surround system.
Definitely had the hi-fi surround with the 212s, if not 15s.
They could have been.
Plus the tweeters in there
Yes.
were.
They were full range, yeah.
Yeah, that was
It looked like a Pioneer system.
Yeah, man. Those were big box speakers, man.
And they pumped.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the stuff. A lot of the stuff in this movie, like I say about a lot of these movies, but this one especially, it was like cool nostalgia, like the kids' bedroom and all that. One story that I want to get in real quick before I forget. So the scene in the beginning, near the beginning of the movie, where he's watching football with his buddies, and his buddy shows up with the beer. Remember the remote?
Yeah,
clicker?
they're having the remote battle
Yeah.
because they're on the same remote.
Right,
the televisions
right.
are close enough.
Right, that they're like battling and stuff. I actually had that happen to me when I moved into this house. So I have remote systems that are like on an RF frequency that work through walls. Usually when you get one, if you get like a base model one, it's set at a frequency like a 1, let's say. And they're all on that from the factory. Now, if you get a little bit higher end one, you can go ahead and dial it to different, so you're not interfering with
Different hertz.
Right.
Right.
because then even in your own house, you might have one in the basement, one upstairs. By chance, my neighbor here next door to me happened to have the same exact remote. And I figured, well, I don't have any other ones like this in my house. So there on a Sunday, we're like switching each other's channels.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he had happened to talk to Michelle. He's like, hey, your husband knows like AV stuff. Like, would he know why my TV just changes randomly? And I was like, I know exactly why.
Yeah.
So I actually had that happen to me.
I'm
That's
trying
really
to watch
cool.
a football game and it's switching over to Mr. fucking Rogers
Right,
here, man. You know,
right.
it could anything Dave could do for me, please.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it was something very similar where he was trying to watch something, I'm trying to watch something, and it was like battling and stuff.
I enjoyed that scene also when the guy, his friend's sitting there, and it goes to Mr. Rogers, and he goes, "Who the hell is this guy?"
He had no idea.
The old head with the real bad hat.
Yeah,
The
like the
really
fishing
bad
hat on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
I still to this day call it a clicker.
The remote
I don't
clicker.
I don't
yeah.
call it a remote. I call it a clicker.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it is, what the people call it, you know what I mean? I do get it, and back then I think it was probably called the clicker. That was like the term. But that struck me funny just because it happened to me, like, that was, 12, 13 years ago now.
That's awesome.
I have a thing that said the original idea for this film came from a true incident in Denver back in the late 1800s. The city was built on top of a cemetery, and the contractor only moved the headstones. It says that all of the bodies were left in the ground at the time. And by the time it was discovered what had been done, it was too late and too expensive to move everything. So they just let it be.
And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So people actually are living on top of all that
And
stuff.
living on top of
Yeah.
dead bodies.
Sinkholes.
Yeah.
Soon to be sinkholes.
I mean, it can't be good. I mean, I don't know. I would think
It did rain a lot in this movie.
It rained a lot.
It rained a lot.
Yeah, it did.
They didn't need to get that pool filled professionally.
They never really said that I remember during the movie, but I'm assuming California is supposed to be the setting. Is that what your guess would be?
I'm thinking California.
Yeah. I don't know that it was ever brought up during the movie, but
What, where they were living at?
yeah. And is that, now I haven't watched this other one in a long time, but they were a week apart. I believe E.T., right? And Poltergeist.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that the same neighborhood and everything that E.T.
E.T. was,
filmed in?
yes.
It is.
Is it? Because that makes a lot of sense. Because I was looking at that thinking the whole time, man, this looks a lot like E.T.
That was my thought. And then maybe that's the nostalgia part too, the BMX bikes and everybody's on a
Yeah.
BMX, and it just takes me back to being 7, 8, 9 years old, whatever. But go
Well,
ahead.
the fact that you guys are talking about that, the Freeling house exteriors were shot at 4267 Roxbury Street in Simi Valley, California.
Oh,
So
you
right
know
there you
what?
go.
Damn it. Yeah, it's Simi Valley. I was just talking about that the other night when I watched this. Yeah, it's Simi Valley.
Well, it was last sold in 2009, and Zillow has it as a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,373 square foot home, as valued at $1,060,000.
That's what the price is now.
Yep.
Wow.
But you can visit that today.
Now,
You can visit that.
for clarity, that's not because it happens to be the Poltergeist house. That's just
That's just value.
that's what houses sell for.
That's just the hood.
that
Right.
size in Simi Valley. Like that's a big house.
Oh, no doubt. And that
Almost 3,000 square.
in Simi, that's where is that where the tech people are and all that, right? Is that area?
Well, so I mean, Simi Valley, you got an easy commute relatively to L.A., but you're just far enough away where it's all right, cool. I'm not in L.A., but I mean, Simi Valley's a big place. The Ronald Reagan Library is there. Presidential.
Was it the
library is
presidential library?
Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of which, I wonder if Zach picked up on the book that he was reading.
So yeah. I saw Coach Craig T. Was reading a Reagan book,
Yeah.
but I didn't catch the full title of it.
It was called The Man, the President. It was just like a Reagan book, and I saw that book.
That's what him and his wife were smoking the weed.
Right.
Yeah, they were doing dope, which I thought was kind of funny just there in the
Well,
house.
I mean, yeah,
That alone should have been enough for parental guidance.
right. The weed smoking and stuff.
Ma, what are they doing with that? What's it?
What kind
a
of cigarette is that?
Why is that guy's wife laughing so much after she smokes this stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that tied into like them smoking the weed with the neighborhood and the neighbors maybe knowing that they smoke and party like that when they were coming to neighbors asking like, hey, are you having issues with things moving in your house and all that? And they were kind of looking at them like, are you guys on something? Or
Yeah, you reefer addicts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what's in that magical peace pipe of yours.
Right.
I did enjoy the neighbors, though.
Yeah, they were cool.
The guy was cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I like this movie a lot just because, well, I mean, I think it is a good movie, but this one really did, for some reason, struck me as nostalgic more than even others
It reminded me of my bedroom growing up as a kid,
with all the Star
minus
Wars.
Carol Ann. Yeah, but they said Robbie's bedroom was filled with all the Star Wars memorabilia, and that's a nod to Steven Spielberg, who was like really good friends with George Lucas.
They were buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So to his bedroom, did you guys notice the Clue board game
Yes.
in the one scene?
For
there?
sure. So
Yeah.
I still have that version of Clue.
Oh, okay, the original one.
It's an unmistakable cover on that box. It's absolutely unmistakable. I still have that one. I mean, it's all, dried out or whatever, but I still got
Still
that
have
one.
that one.
The
Absolutely.
original pieces. You
Oh,
didn't lose
yeah.
any of them?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So the one thing we were talking about, and I didn't know if you guys had any info on this, and it was there's a Super Bowl poster on his wall in his bedroom, and it's for Super Bowl, I believe it was 23 for 1988. It said 1988 Super Bowl.
It was in like kind of like the rainbow colors.
Right. Well, this is 1982, and
Are you sure it said
I'm
1988?
positive because I looked it up and I watched it like on an HD version. There's no reference to. I looked it up online. The producers and all those people, they never referenced why they did that. Here's the freaky thing about it. So we're all aware of the curses with this movie and all that. Correct.
Sure,
the
absolutely.
deaths and all
Our
that.
listeners probably aren't. We'll have to
Well, we're gonna
fill
get
them in on that.
get around to that. But the one girl, the Heather O'Rourke, passed away at the age of 12.
That was Carol Ann.
She went to the hospital that day of that Super Bowl and died the next day.
That's what's so crazy.
Yeah,
That's absolutely crazy.
yeah.
Are you sure it said? I got to look that up again because I thought it said something back there, but I thought it was just kind of like a pyramid shape.
I'm 100% sure.
So let's assume that it was 1988
Mm-hmm.
on that printed on that poster. So if this movie came out in 82, you're telling me Carol Ann died 6 years later.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I know, and we'll get into it. I know.
Right.
I just didn't know it was 6 years. I thought it was less than 6, but that's crazy. I wonder if that was just, printed up because the producer or the director or the somebody or the set guy or the whomever might have liked one of the teams. And they're going to be there in,
this
5,
year,
6 years.
San Francisco, I think, won that Super Bowl, didn't they? Or was that Cowboys?
I believe but it was held in San Diego. Now I do know that Super Bowl from 1988. Now I do know that obviously a few years ahead where the Super Bowl is going to be, but San Diego, I don't know if that's near where this was filmed, Simi Valley, or
So San Diego's south.
Yeah, so it wouldn't even be
damn south.
It wouldn't even be near there, and they never reference in the movie that this movie takes place in the future, saying it's 1988. Like it's supposed.
That's so crazy. I never noticed that.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch it, look for that because I saw it when watching it, and I'm like, wait a minute, and then I was like, why does that say 1988? And I went online and looked it up, and sure enough, there's people that talk about it, but nobody really got a straight answer as to why. And I don't know if the producers and all the people involved don't want to reference it because of the actual death that happened near and around it, and they don't want to feed into that. They just kind of ignore it, and they just never really gave an explanation. But I thought that was crazy. I don't know. But yeah, so that was the one thing that I was like,
The one thing that really bothered me was the clown.
Yeah.
Why would a parent or a kid want that clown in their room?
Well, that was something that I think it was Spielberg. Hold on a sec.
He had a fear of clowns growing up.
Is that what it was? Spielberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the trees.
And I think that's why he put those two things in the movie to show when he was just a part of his life growing up, his youth that scared him. But I just didn't like the clown.
No, I agree. It was like freaky.
And they said there was a part where the clown comes to life. And I guess they had it on an animatronic type thing, and it kind of like froze up, and it was actually choking little Robbie
near the end scene.
So the fear that he was showing in that scene was real.
Damn.
Because he's like, look, this shit choking me, but he couldn't say that.
Oh, geez.
And he was just like really scared, and they were like, oh, this is great. This kid's great.
Not for nothing. Speaking of Robbie, for all the money that Steve, the old man, Craig T. Nelson, is blowing on sound systems and televisions and all this other stuff, you think he could have popped for some braces or some shit?
Oh, that kid's teeth were.
Oh my God!
Especially like by the light there. Yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah.
Awful.
Maybe that's why the tree was attacking him. Thought he was
woodchuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, Craig T. Nelson, Mr. Freeling, there. He's like what he made. The one guy said like 47% of the money for this company.
Of the sales.
And you can't get
responsible for 40-some% of the sales.
Yeah, you can't get little Robbie his own bedroom.
No, man.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's probably why the Poltergeist were there.
Good call.
It's his fault.
It probably was, but
Poor Robbie.
So Heather O'Rourke, who they were going to have Drew Barrymore play that part.
Makes sense.
And she actually read for the part and did it all, but he wanted somebody more angelic, younger. And he saw this girl, Heather O'Rourke, in the, I think she was having lunch I don't know if it was at MGM, at the MGM commissary with her mother. And he went up and approached him. And I guess the first read through, she was laughing and kind of giggling through parts, but he still saw something in her. And he said, I want you guys to come back and bring a scary book. And they did like an interaction with her reading the book or whatever. And the second time around, he was like, all right, yeah, she's going to do this part. And
there's that innocence there, right? That you're just seeing that innocence go to hell because she's on her way to hell, basically. Or the
highway to hell.
The other world.
Yep. And then Drew Barrymore, because of not getting this, ended up in E.T. as a little sister.
Yeah, he thought that Drew Barrymore had a better look for E.T. She had a better look for Poltergeist.
So Drew Barrymore read for this.
He wanted her.
And he said, okay, not this one, but I'm going to give you E.T.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the longest time after this movie was out, or maybe like the first time I had seen it, I always thought that was Drew Barrymore.
Oh, really?
As the other girl, as the girl,
right?
As Carol Ann.
I could see that because I didn't realize how close these movies came together. How close they were released. Like it was a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, not just the same year, but like almost the same month.
Yeah, it was very, very close, and that had, I think, something to do with Spielberg kind of tiptoeing around his involvement. Like there was something.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors with that. Tobe Hooper, he liked what he did with Texas Chainsaw. He was the director of that, and it said that people were saying that Spielberg, or people on the set were saying that he was directing the entire movie.
Oh.
So he's like a puppeteer.
Yeah, and like Hooper was there like saying things, but they had the controversy was fueled in 2007, I guess, an interview with Zelda Rubinstein. Tangina, what did they call her?
Tangina.
Yeah, she claimed that Spielberg was there and directed all 6 days that she was on set. No matter what they're saying, like Hooper was there, but she was saying Spielberg was directing.
He was just there as a figurehead, kind of like people. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, Spielberg. We should just call this Old Dirty Spielberg basement because it seems to always be involved.
7 degrees of Spielberg.
Yeah, I mean, he's just in everything we're doing. But yeah,
He got the money, man.
So they said it. Speaking of her, Zelda Rubinstein, they said it took her 6 days to film her parts, and she was supposedly. They said she had psychic abilities in real life coming into this.
She was a real life medium. That's why they chose her.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That interweb has plenty of facts.
Look what I just learned today.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Good for you, Zelda.
Was cast because she had been a medium in real life. So she knew how to do that stuff anyway.
Her and do you think she coached Miss Cleo?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't remember those commercials, Miss Cleo?
Late at night.
Yeah.
It's called 1-800.
1-900.
1-900-909-JEFF.
That's right.
$2 the first minute, 25 cents each additional minute.
Yeah. Forgot about 1-900 numbers. You charge for that. Yeah. Got to be careful.
Or like
you will get your ass whipped.
Yeah. Comes your phone bill comes.
Late night when remember Howard Stern show?
Of course.
Yeah.
They always had those ones like these girls are hitting each other with pillows.
Yeah. So to be clear,
Party line.
You're referring to when Howard Stern was on WWOR Channel 9 out of New York.
Yes.
And
came on.
His just low rate, low rent, low budget show that he was.
Oh, it was horrible low budget.
Yeah.
But I never laughed harder than watching that.
Yes.
Channel 9.
Yes.
Channel 9 show. Is that the one?
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
And he used to have, what was something like King's Mattress or something was one of his.
It was at Sofa King.
Sofa King or something.
Our prices are Sofa King low.
Yeah.
That was
Sofa
great.
King low.
Yeah.
Good old Howard.
Yeah. So this was one of the first films that deal with EVP, the voice phenomenon, like the equipment they were using to kind of do readings and all that for the ghosts. Yeah. I mean, you think about it, what was really out? I'm trying to think like something in the 70s maybe that dealt with like ghost hunting and that type of stuff. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I can't at all. I mean, I know that watching this movie reminds me a lot of like watching it. So now we're specifically talking about the inner space, the ghosts that are floating around and stuff. So when I see the special effects on this, I think, man, that mirrors the ghost special effects. That mirrors like Cocoon, or it mirrors even Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Like when they pull the plug on the vault, on the containment unit, where all the ghosts get put into, when they pull that and you just see, again, the lights, just that big blast of light that comes out of the roof and it's flying all over the city. Like that just reminds me so much of, or I should say Poltergeist reminded me so much of that particular special effect.
Wait, what was the first movie that you mentioned?
Cocoon?
Cocoon, yeah, with they had the little spirits that were much alike too.
It
pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little flashes of light.
I thought special effects weren't actually too bad for 1982. The one scene at the very end I thought actually was really, really good for the time when the house collapsed on itself at the very end. I was like, wow, that actually does not look that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they could do a lot better now, but
conversely to that though, I'm going to throw out a very poor effort on whomever the set person was or whomever the special effects guy was that did the guy ripping his skin off after eating the chicken.
Yes.
Come on, man. So in 1984 or when did whatever year Terminator came out, the original Terminator?
84, I believe.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's say 84 Terminator. So you can for damn sure tell that there is it's a mannequin mask or whatever the hell kind of thing of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like it's there. You can absolutely tell that, no question. But it's close. It's close. This of that dude, the EVP specialist,
right?
Come on, man! Like that was just bad.
It was cartoon. Like
what was
right.
bad?
You could so
the piece of steak was bad. That's what bothered me the most.
That was at least like presentable. I mean, so I know what get what he's saying. I agree.
When you look at this, so you remember when your kids are. I'm not even that. No, I'm sorry. They did it in. I think they did it in Clue, where you stand away from someone and they can't see your face, and you have your arms wrapped around yourself. And you make it look like you're kissing somebody, right?
Yeah. So 7th grade trick.
Right, exactly. Yes. So this was mirror that when it showed the hands coming up and was pulling the fake flesh, wink, wink, flesh off of this animatronic thing that there's a skull underneath it and stuff like that. Like you can just tell, like the head's laid back. It looks like a shrunken head from Beetlejuice. It's just lousy special effects.
It was bad. That was he's so right on that, because I just watched it actually this morning, and I was like, what the hell? Like that's
Come on,
bad.
a little something pretty effort.
But that was Steven Spielberg's hands that actually ripped that off. That was him doing it.
For real?
Mhm.
So
Really?
he was involved in that?
Yes, he was
Surprised
hands
he
on.
went
They
in
called it
there.
hands on.
Speaking of that and talking about, now this is a movie that's even more current, and I think they could have did a much better job in, you guys familiar with Casino?
Absolutely.
And do you know the scene in the very beginning when De Niro goes out to his car,
car
and starts
explosion.
it and it explodes?
Car blows up, yeah.
Now, have you ever caught how fake basically when he gets in the car and sits down and turns the key?
The spark part.
No,
The explosion. So it's like the car stays
Oh, and the explosion around
perfectly
it.
intact,
Yes.
and it just
Yeah, I
gets
gotcha.
engulfed in fire.
Mhm.
Like, it was lousy.
but the mannequin that they use, like you can
I
totally
didn't notice
tell.
that.
Like we'll go back when we're done here. Remind me, I'm gonna pull it up because it's on streaming here. I'll pull it up and we're gonna watch it because it's right at the beginning.
Nice.
And
Okay,
it's
listeners,
it's
pull that up.
It's horrible. Like it's like that's 1995. By then you could have did a better job.
Come on, give a shit.
Right. So I get what Zap's saying. It's like you got a decent budget on this, and the effects were decent enough. You could have probably did a little better.
Again, we're watching it in redone 4K. If you're watching that at a movie theater back in '82, probably didn't look that bad. People were probably like, "Whoa."
Well, I could see that with the Casino because I'm watching it now on like a HD or 4K stream.
Well, we're
And
talking
maybe-
about the same thing with Poltergeist. You're watching it at a movie theater, all grainy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily green. There's a soft, and I miss this, and I turn that shit off on my televisions, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't stand watching what they call the soap opera
Oh, it's
effect.
horrible,
I
yeah.
cannot stand that, where they try to intersplice
Looks like a,
intersplice extra, scenes or extra moving to slow this. I'm sorry, to actually speed the movie up to the number,
the frame rate.
the
yeah.
refresh rate. Yeah, the frame rate. Thank you. So I miss it so much that I dumb down my televisions, every single one, to make sure that I get that softness, that glow, that hue, as it were. All of these old movies were,
And yeah, I agree.
the way they were, meant to be.
meant to be, and there should be a little bit of grain in a film. I mean, it's just, to me, it looks more natural.
Remember,
And
Quentin Tarantino was into that for a while. With
Right.
some of the movies he put out, he went back to the old like '70s.
I'd rather see that, to be
I would
honest with
too,
you. Especially with a
especially-
horror movie.
yeah.
I mean, I think it just looks better. But, maybe.
So you
Getting us back-
directors,
getting
out
us
there.
back on track with this
Yeah.
movie. How was this movie not rated R?
That's what I thought too, watching it. Like, we know that PG was it was before PG-13, and this movie could have easily been rated R, but maybe they had enough money and pull. Spielberg's involved, and they're just kind of like, we're going to push this through. I don't know. I agree, though. It could have easily been an R.
Why would you figure a rated R movie?
The violence. and
So
just
so there's the violence and the implied gore okay, so let's think about this. So if I understand, and just using as a for example, so one of the primary reasons why, let's say, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was to have been rated PG-13 was because there's a scene in there where some high priest pulls this dude's heart out of his
Yes.
body.
Mm-hmm.
So the rating agents looked at that and said, that's scary as shit for a kid that's under this age, right? So we should really, put out the message that, parents, you should be warned that less than 13, watch yourself. So in this case, you have a dude pulling the skin off of his face after he, bit this chicken leg with maggots in it. So he thinks that, again, he's pulling the very skin off of his face, like himself. Although I get it, special effects and stuff like that aside, the viewer is led to believe that he's pulling his own face off. So if I use pulling my own face off as a comparison to pulling a heart out of the body, it's kind of, I don't see
That's
the
a
difference
whole
between the two.
Right. Yeah, I think that for
Add to that, mom's upstairs smoking her brains out, smoking the reefer,
Right.
smoking the pot. She's on the pot.
Yeah, there was definitely things in this that I could have, think could have.
I agree with
pushed it
Dave. I
on.
think it's because of who's directing it. He had E.T. coming out, which is PG. He had this, and he wanted like the kids to be able to like, ooh, I liked E.T.
Let me go see this.
Let's go see this. It looks
Maybe.
scary.
All I know is that parents who use drugs have kids who use drugs,
Yeah.
according to the public service announcements.
Yeah.
But to follow up with that, I also agree that Steven Spielberg had enough money to grease the rating agents to say, look, man,
You think
here's a couple of bucks.
You
We
know,
can knock this down to
Spielberg, Lucas, they're all in it together for the money.
Bringing that up too, like about the marijuana smoking. Thinking now in 2022, I should say, it's not like that big of a deal. But back then, it was probably like, oh, I can't believe they're showing that, and like, who does that? Even
No,
though
I
people
don't-
are probably doing it behind their closed doors, they were probably thinking like,
Well, that's true. He was reading a Reagan book while he was doing drugs. Nancy Reagan started the war on drugs.
How about that?
So maybe that was kind of I think it was like a little joke, maybe.
Just say no.
Yeah.
Yes, Nancy.
But I'm just saying, like, the stigma attached to it back then versus now, where it's just kind of like, I mean, it's legal a lot of places and stuff. It's not a big, just saying in 1982, I could see where that was something that would maybe affect the rating a little bit.
But our parents all came from hippies, pretty much. That was like their parents were there. Or no, our parents were the hippie generation.
Right.
Correct? So I don't think like pot smoking back in the 80s was like that's when the cocaine started coming in. That was the big one that turned it.
I think we're all kind of saying the same thing, though. You both had said very similar things with regard to, for sure, obviously, I'm sure that there were people that were smoking pot behind closed doors, right? And this was just a look into their life.
Right.
Like, for all we know, when we were in grade school or whatever, we don't know that, Sally's or Billy's or, whomever's mother or was ever, smoking the reefer.
Papa G had the reef.
Right.
But I'm just thinking about at the time, it probably was like, for some people, they would get, oh my God, I can't believe they're showing that. But so talking about Zelda Rubinstein and some of the stuff that went on, weird things that happened during this movie, and I'm sure Matt has a couple things there too. Did you read the part about her dog and the dream and all that?
No, I did not.
So she had a dream, I guess, and she was supposedly, she said, a psychic or whatever
medium.
A medium.
I think they called him. Yeah, she called herself a medium.
But she had a dream about her dog came to her to say goodbye, like in her dream. And she thought it was weird. She woke up the next day and got a phone call. Her dog had died. So it was kind of like, that's weird. I guess there was like a lot of different things that happened during this movie that were unexplained.
Do you have like any of those to talk about? Like, because there was a bunch of stuff that happened in like a succession. Is that how you say it? Succession?
Sure.
Yeah, somebody else, I think, that was staying on the, like, I guess they put these people up in houses nearby, maybe during filming. I read a part about maybe somebody staying at a house and things falling off the walls and things happening at this house, similar to what happened in the movie.
I did read that they would come back from filming some days and there would be like the pictures would be moved, but that could be
an
like
earthquake or
like the gaffer like playing jokes on them or something like that.
That's the thing. Could be somebody messing around.
I mean, I would do that if I was doing a horror movie like that, just to play mind tricks on people.
Yeah. But it was just weird that if that was the only house affected, or, well, I should say when they're talking about earthquakes and all that, like little mini tremors or something that would, obviously they kind of blamed that in the movie when it happened in their bedroom. He was saying, it was a 6.4, it had to be at least a 6.4 earthquake, and this and that. So it was probably like the norm out there.
Sometimes on this show, we talk about Siskel and Ebert and things that they have to say. And they said the movie did receive mostly positive reviews. Gene Siskel only gave the movie 1.5 stars, calling it very silly. He thought it was like deserved like the PG type rating.
Oh, really?
Because he thought it was goofy. Like like you said, that part where you're ripping your face off looks silly to him. The ghosts look silly to him.
Yeah. Well, remind me in the next one, I have something to say about them too in the next movie review that we do. But
these guys are haters, man. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Haters.
They pan a lot of stuff.
But no, Roger Ebert actually disagreed and gave it 3.5 stars, saying that he found it like it was very frightening. And he thought it was one of the good horror movies of the generation. Yeah,
of the generation. Yeah, I mean, watching it now, I obviously it's not as scary. I remember as a kid seeing it. I mean, I think I remember being pretty scared.
That was very frightening. The supernatural stuff,
the unknown, and all that. Yeah,
between like this one and The Exorcist. The Exorcist, I couldn't sleep for like a couple weeks.
The Exorcist, I still don't like watching.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't like anything with possession. I don't. I mean, I've watched stuff like that, but that stuff to me just kind of I don't really like to mess with it too much. And
I remember seeing the chicken and then eating the chicken and the pulling the face off scene as a kid. That just scarred me. Like that scared the shit out of me, man.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything in there about the skeletons?
Yes, I do know about the skeletons.
Go ahead.
Which they were saying in the 80s, even in the 70s, a lot of the special effects, they would use actual skeletons.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that legal?
Well, because getting a fake skeleton or something, that was something that, you would see the skeletons to get those made was very expensive.
Where did they get the real bones?
I guess people just
like probably local
colleges. Yeah, you can donate that. Or after they're done.
Whoa, time out. Local college kids donated their bones?
No. Local colleges, like maybe their medical schools.
Yeah,
or
medical
whatever,
schools and
stuff. Cadavers, where they take the homeless or the whomever that again.
The homeless.
Yeah.
Well, no, dude, that's a thing, right? Like they take you find a dead homeless person that let's find out what this guy had. And shit, he's got bones. Let's throw that in a movie.
Right. Probably went to Geen Mart. He has bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a Geen Mart out there.
But
No,
yeah, it was.
that-
It's what they did, and it saved them a lot of money, a lot of time, and they would donate these, and because the people already put their bodies up for whatever.
Did they get any credits in the?
Yeah.
Their great cousins get like $1.25 every time they show
Can you
the
imagine
movie.
being like a descendant of one of the deceased, and
They're in
like
the
a
movie.
mother? Or, hey, look, Junior, that's
your pop pop.
That's Uncle Joey.
Yeah, floating around.
Here, let's rewind that again. Ooh, there he is again.
Good old jailbird Joey.
Well, the scene at the end, near the end, where she falls into the pool and there's skeletons coming, they're the ones.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not know that. They did not tell her till after the filming was done. That, hey, some of those were real. Like some of the skeletal parts were real. And she's like, what?
I'd have sued the shit out of them, man.
Yeah.
Well, see, I heard like some of this. They did put some things on. Like they were more. It wasn't like the decomposing type.
Well, I'm
body,
sure they
but
were
they put
skeletons with stuff over top.
Yeah, they put stuff on top of them, but they
Right.
were actual skeletons.
So Joe Beth Williams, that was Diane. She was the one that was in the pool there scene. She was already freaked out about that scene because on the set, they had fans going, they had big lights, they had all this electrical stuff going on around this body of water. And she was like, how do I know that with all this weird stuff going on in this movie already that's surrounding this, because they knew there were like little things going wrong, that those lights or anything's going to fall in here and electrocute me. And they were like, no, trust me, everything's grounded. You'll be fine. And then I don't know if it was Spielberg or somebody that was there got in with
Spielberg
her.
was pissed that it was taking her so long to film it because they had everything set up. So he jumped in. He was like, look, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
he
fine.
got in with her. Yeah, they kind of show her.
But see, why would Spielberg be getting so pissed? Why was he the one that jumped in when he wasn't directing the movie?
Yeah.
If it was Mr.
I
Hooper.
mean, his name was on it. You know, he was on it.
For sure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, his name's attached to it. He's got, look, when you're making this movie or whatever, everybody's got a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And the boss is whoever's giving you the 10.7 million
Yeah, he's
to
putting
make
the
this
money out.
goddamn movie. So Spielberg, despite his greatness, or I should say his greatness notwithstanding,
Very good.
he's still got a boss. And that, again, that's the theater or whomever is fronting the 10 million to make this goddamn thing.
Right. So the movie, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've seen it, like, you know, as far as how the story goes and everything. So they basically, he's a realtor, and Craig T. Nelson, and they get this house they're living in. He was the first one, right, to build there or have the house
He was
built.
he was in the first phase.
First phase.
Oh, that's much like myself.
Yeah, and we are,
Yeah.
we both are here in the
Oh.
first phase. But yeah, so they move into this house, and he's a realtor, right? That he's selling in that,
So I would call him he's a developer.
a developer.
for
Okay.
sure. Now
Was he the architect or?
with that, so there's so many components to taking just dirt and turning that into a community.
Mm-hmm.
It for damn sure takes a developer on and anything under their charge. Things not unlike an architect or the planning people or the whomever people. Then you got the guys that sell the house. So it really does it takes a good number of people to make all of this happen. So I think he wore a number of hats.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, he did a
in
lot.
that function.
Okay. So
Which
that,
would likely explain how he had 40-some% of the sales for this
neighborhood
this neighborhood. Yeah,
that he's selling, but the guy above him was doing some shady stuff, and this house is obviously buried over.
Not buried.
Basically,
Place.
or no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This house is built over buried bodies, and they never moved the bodies, and
they only took the headstones.
yes, yeah.
It was very unsettling for the bodies in the ground. They didn't like it.
Indeed, they were unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that all these things are going on. They bring in. They know right away where to go. For some reason, they found that, was it like a school, or I don't even know where those people were. That they when they went and found the investigators, like the psychic, or not psychic investigators, but it was like the
Marty
like
and
ghost hunters almost.
Marty and the other guy and the lady.
So I see what you're saying, and I'm tracking. It looks like they went to a campus.
Right.
It absolutely looks like they went to some sort of campus to find this building, and there's a lab and there's a whatever there. So yeah, it makes sense.
They could have did a little tie-in with Ghostbusters.
I was going to say Ghostbusters worked out of a school.
Yeah, but they could have did like a combo movie, with Poltergeist and Ghostbusters, and have like, Aykroyd and all them guys come in and
They had this. Oh, I see what you're saying.
like
I was gonna say they had the same special effects. Why wouldn't they have Ghostbusters come in?
yeah,
Oh, alas, had only it come out earlier.
yeah,
Was saying, but before that, there was Carol Ann. She gets attracted to the TV, static. They start calling her name. One day things get a little funky. The tree goes and grabs Robbie, right? Which is afraid of the tree.
Yep.
right,
Then the tree grabs Robbie. A tornado comes, pulls Carol Ann into the closet. She gets sucked into the
the vortex or whatever.
vortex world. And
which is like
it's like the equivalent of the Upside Down, I think.
Yeah, Stranger
Things.
Yeah,
good show.
Yeah,
You guys should watch that out there listening. But anyway, yeah, Carol Ann's gone, and then they go into the college, the school, whatever, where you guys are at,
and get these
and
investigators.
get the investigators.
And then they're stumped, and they're like, cannot believe what they're seeing. And then they bring in the psychic, who's Zelda Rubinstein, who that's the one character I really remember. Like, she was like...
Yeah, she was big in that because it was different to see, in the way she talked, the way she looked. It was just...
it was her, and then in Poltergeist, too, it was the preacher or whatever.
His holy temple. That guy.
Yeah, he almost reminds me of the Phantasm guy.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, you took it.
Yeah.
And I get we're not even getting on to Poltergeist 2, but yeah, man, that dude was creepy.
He was a great
Which
character.
Poltergeist 2, I believe, was a lot scarier than the first as you get older to
just
watch it.
because of that dude.
Yeah.
He was a scary
And
guy.
I don't know that we'll ever do that movie, and maybe we will, but I found something out about that movie, and I know we're doing Poltergeist, but it's Poltergeist 2, is that guy playing such a great character. He was actually dying of cancer during the filming of that. And
while Carol Ann was dying of what they allege was Crohn's.
Whatever she
What
had
they
going on.
allege was Crohn's.
Die of Crohn's.
Thank you, Matt. I
get the alleged, but that doesn't
die
make sense.
of Crohn's. That sounds like to me, it sounds like a misdiagnosis.
Yeah, but that was a little off topic with him, but I just thought that was interesting because they are two characters from both these movies that stood out to me. Now, the little girl, obviously, the blonde hair girl, Heather O'Rourke, obviously, and touching the TV and they're here and all that.
Yes.
But then that Zelda Rubinstein character. So she comes in, she's a psychic, and she kind of knows everything. She knows exactly what to do, and they kind of, once the daughter's lost in there, this is how we're going to get her back. And
yeah, she tells the mom, like, forget everything that you learned. You need to listen to me. Whatever I tell you to do, you need to do.
Well, no, it's great that she said that because I've noticed in the movie that poor mom, that Diane Freeling, as played by Jo Beth Williams, she's getting mixed signals. Tell your kid to go away from the light.
Come to the light.
No. Now tell her to go to the light.
Yeah.
No. Tell her to go away from the light. Come on, man. Make up my mind.
Like, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she was like getting into like the family thing, like to Craig T. Nelson, Mr. Freeling. She was like, who is Carol Ann more afraid of? Call for her, scare her. He's like, I never scared her. I never spanked her. And then he's like, Carol Ann, get down here now. And then she answered.
I didn't get that part. Like, what was the reason that did she say why she wanted him to scare her like that?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
So my interpretation is that, so you would have heard in that scene that Carol Ann was surrounded by spirits or surrounded by ghosts. Like she's basically hanging out like, hey, I've made friends here, or these ghosts are friendly to me. They must want me to be here. So you don't want to have a soft mother in there saying, oh, come on, now come with me. Well, because if I hear that, I'm just going to hang out with my friends. Right. However, if I hear my old man saying, hey, let's go, time to go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's like, So she was like, oh, crap. And then she started calling out.
I got you.
And that's why the lady said, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Like, and he's like, I'm not going to get her. She'll listen to her mom. And they're like, she doesn't need to hear her mom right now because the dad's the one that would put the fear of her.
Yeah,
the fear in her.
She's not there to be coddled.
Yes.
She's there to be gotten.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they collected.
So they put a rope through there, and this portal goes through the closet and then down into the living room. And it's kind of like a way in and a way out. And they end up sending the mother through on this rope.
With the really bad, like the slime.
Yeah, what was that? That looked like
that's the same mood slime you would have seen in Ghostbusters
2.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2, okay.
The pink slime, the river of slime.
The river of slime.
So they get out. They get the daughter out and the mother come out pretty much unscathed. I mean, they're there for a minute.
Yeah, throw them in the tub.
Yeah. Are they alive? Are they not? But I think we know. And then it gets to a part that really bothered me with these people is like...
I know what you're getting at. Go ahead.
So now you got everybody, the daughter's safe, and you're going to stay in the house. He's going to
But that's why they have everybody moving. You're there. You got the stuff. He's like, we're going to stay at the hotel tonight. I don't know. Let's just one more night at the old Chris out.
There is no fucking way I'm staying at that house after I just watched my wife and daughter get pulled out of the ceiling.
Yes.
Through this magical portal to who knows where to Hellville, onto the ground covered in purple slime. This is my same daughter who has she's been gone for days. Somehow her spirit's lingering in the house in the upside down here. I keep using upside down.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
very
get
similar.
It's a good reference.
Yeah, sure. One more night. That makes sense. No Craig. No coach.
Yeah, no
it
coach
does
is
not.
going. That really bothered me about because I was like, oh, the movie because I didn't remember that whole part at the end. I thought it was. I was like, man,
I thought that was the
happy
end.
ending.
Yeah, that was it.
They're all getting in the.
Now
like,
it is possible. It is entirely possible that thanks to her efforts, the team, the family is very much believing in the skills and abilities of Zelda. I mean, they're really, Tangina.
What comment? She made a comment.
This house is clean.
yes,
That's what it was,
This house
yes.
is clean. But would you? No, you ain't staying in the house, man.
So a very, scary event, a very emotional event. This lady just brought my daughter back to me. Okay, I'm gonna trust her. However, I'm getting the hell out of this house. Like tonight, this minute, this second.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been in there. And I wouldn't have. And if my family was staying there, I would stay.
Yeah, Craig T's like, oh, I'm out. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
If they were adamant on staying there, yeah, I just didn't get that.
Oh, wait, why? How did that happen?
Yes,
how did that
makes no
happen that
sense,
he
man.
left them there? No, man, it's cool. You got this.
Wait, we pulled you out the thing. Yeah, I mean, they cleaned you off. You were in the tub. You're good, baby.
It's
I got
okay,
to
right,
roll.
right.
Big business.
The older daughter was gone, and he was gone.
Yeah, she's out making out again.
Well, no,
She was out with the guy in the TA.
Yeah.
The guy in the red TA.
No, there was. That was earlier.
Was that a Firebird or a Trans Am?
I'm almost positive it was a Trans
Trans
It
Am.
was a Trans Am, red Trans Am.
Yeah.
Another part, and it was earlier. I think before they sent the boy away in like a cab. With the dog.
What was up with that?
So I said that out loud. That came out of my mouth as he. Like, where's he going?
And who's
Is he going to work? Like he got a conference he's got to go to.
There was
Where's his briefcase?
if
the dog,
you guys
yeah.
look at my notes, I put that there towards the end. Like, where is Robbie going in a cab by himself?
And the mom just goes like, "Call me sometime."
Then she's pouring coffee like 2 seconds later. I was like, you just sent this kid off in a cab
No.
with a cabbie.
Give me a call sometime.
Yeah.
What?
Where did
Yeah.
he go?
I don't know.
Hopefully
That's
the orthodontist.
yeah.
He needed braces.
Maybe that's where he was going. Yeah.
God damn those teeth.
But like you
was-
said, all this and but you want
and they
everybody
hung around.
you want everybody back in the house for your last night.
Well, I mean, it extended the movie because I when they were doing the movers and all that, and I remember reading about the part about the skeletons, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, with the pool and all that, I'm like, this didn't happen yet. Am I missing something, or did I miss it? Because I thought that was the end of the movie because I haven't seen it. Like I saw it maybe a year or two ago, and I still didn't remember.
Which would have made sense to be the
Yeah.
end of the movie.
Yeah. But the actual end of the movie, I guess we can get around to that. So, so Joe Beth Williams is staying there with the daughter and the son, the younger ones. And
Is the dog there in the last?
I don't know. I didn't see
The dog's name was E-Buzz. And he had a lot to do in this movie, but I don't know where the E-Buzz came from. I was trying to find out why the dog was named that.
I don't know. The dog was, it was a cool dog.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The dog had the sixth sense, man. He
was like
sat
barking.
on his hind legs. He knew exactly where the ghosts were.
Mm-hmm. But so this, obviously things aren't finished yet. And these poltergeists come back and try to, what was it? The clown attacked the boy. That kind of sad. She's in taking a bath, relaxing, which I just cannot.
How do you relax in that house?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
She smokes reefer.
Well, you're right. That probably would do it.
Yeah, she was probably.
Give her a reefer and a hot bath, and she's good to go.
She was reefed up. She didn't care about the kids no more.
No, man. She didn't care at all.
God.
Selfish.
So they have obviously all these skeletons start coming out of the ground and everywhere. The boy and girl trying to get sucked back into the portal, and the mom comes in, and that was a cool scene when the hallway goes real deep, real long.
Yes.
I was like, that's cool. Like that was a cool effect.
That was to who directed The Shining.
That was Stanley Kubrick.
It's a Kubrick. Yeah, these guys are on the Kubrick.
Yeah,
That was a little Kubrick reference.
it was an ode to him. But I thought that was a cool like special effect or scene. I don't know. I guess it was a special effect. But she gets them out. They're trying to get out of the house. There's a skeleton, like what do you call it? Coffins popping up, skeletons popping out. Now the whole neighborhood's out. They're like,
Checking out the.
Yeah, Craig T shows back up with the developer, I guess, is with him, and
His boss.
his boss.
Yeah.
Right, and he's getting to see firsthand, like,
Who he was what was his name? He was a famous actor. He was in a lot of movies. He was also in Jaws, wasn't he? He was the mayor in Jaws.
That was I'm pretty sure that actor to whom you're referring is James Karen
Yes.
as
Mr.
Mr.
Teague.
Teague.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he shows up and he sees like basically what he did, building on there. But I thought it was a little like dramatic. The whole neighborhood, cars wrecking, and
But in Poltergeist 2, did they mention like how a house disappeared?
I don't
Was any of
remember
that
that.
brought up?
I don't remember Poltergeist too. Like I just remember that old man. That
I
was
can
it.
tell you, I have never seen the whole way through Poltergeist 2. I've seen little snippets, blurbs at best.
If I did, I don't remember.
But I would have moved out of the neighborhood also after I saw that. I've been like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, they get out, and then the Craig T with in every horror movie can't start the car, won't start, can't get the keys.
Can't find the
you know what
keys,
I mean?
yeah.
You gotta love that. I mean, that's in most movies, like the tension, But
But anyway, they backed out of there. The little hussy daughter shows up.
Yeah.
Big hickey on her neck.
Yeah,
She
welcome
got Johnny
back.
Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence
driving her in the Trans Am.
They should do that in the remake.
Yeah,
Johnny Lawrence is her boyfriend.
that'd be awesome.
Be fantastic. So yeah, it's interesting you watch that. So now we're the whole way through this movie.
Mhm.
So you have what I consider the climax is when they pull Carol Ann out of the upside down, right?
Right.
That to me is the climax, and then anything after that is just the denouement. That's just the anti or post climax. That okay, you're winding down. It's the end of the story, but then zoom. Right back up, like right back. You're in climax too.
Put you on the
thought-
roller coaster.
I think you're probably right that they did that to put you in a safe place, and then it got even more intense. That actual scene where I forgot to talk about too, where Joe Beth Williams, Diane Freeling, is getting pulled around the room up onto the, much like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
She got bruised up real bad and was taking a beating on that scene. She was like crying and complaining about it.
That's a classic special effect that was in use for a number of years, where it's just the box. This room is it's connected to this spinning wheel on the back, right? It's almost like not a carousel. Yeah,
I think it take like sideways.
not the
or something.
merry-go-round, whatever the hell the thing is.
Rotor.
No, man, the thing that goes up and down. It's a circle. It's a vertical circle. It takes you around the.
Yeah, I know what you're
The Ferris, not the Ferris. Is that the Ferris wheel?
Yeah,
the
like
Ferris wheel. So it's basically it operates like a Ferris wheel where you're just this box is slowly twisting and moving, so that and it just cuts slowly and surely enough that it looks like she's crawling on the ceiling, but obviously the ceiling is on the floor.
It's not the floor,
Yeah.
and they're just filming it. And that's how they did Nightmare on Elm Street. That scene is very similar.
Yeah.
They did that
special
with
effect.
the special effect on the tree climbing scene was also done in reverse. While it shows them falling down from the tree, that was them like going up like in weird ways, climbing up the tree.
Oh,
and they
nice.
just reversed it.
Didn't know
Pretty
that.
smart. Pretty
Yeah.
smart.
But
Little tricks of the trade back then.
right.
That and terrible skin on terrible
Oh, that
mannequins
was-
with fucking chicken.
That was bad. That was probably like
I'm sorry, I don't want to dwell, but damn, that was shitty.
Well,
No,
the
you're
chicken
right.
on the ground part wasn't that bad with the maggots coming out of it.
True, that was good. That was probably the best part of that scene because
Yeah,
the
but
rest of it just went
stupid.
shit town
Yeah.
from there.
yeah.
The first,
It
they
didn't
shouldn't have
look
went the whole to like his face when he just started peeling off the skin. If they would have left it at that, because the blood in the sink looked kind of cool.
good. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
didn't
mind
even
that
have
as
to
much.
show it.
Yeah,
It
they
could've
didn't have
just
to show it. It could have been
implied.
suggested, implied.
Or even show it like, I don't know, like kind of shaded or dark that you don't even really see. I don't know.
I know how much like we think remakes on this show are shit,
Mm-hmm.
but did you know there was a remake of this? I did not know that. It's in 2015.
I did know after looking it up, but I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I for damn sure didn't see it.
It said it was panned horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was. They said it just sucked because I never even heard of it.
Yeah, I did know when I saw it, like I do kind of remember hearing about it, but a lot of these remakes, like we talked about, Zap, talked about too, is they're never really ever going to be as good. So
No.
it's like, why waste your time?
And then I guess the Russo brothers who directed Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame
Mm-hmm.
from the Avengers series, but they wanted to do a remake in 2019.
Again,
And, yeah,
a remake of
Jesus
a remake.
Christ. Come on, man.
but they're still in developments of it. They said
Well, don't do it.
no.
Please don't.
Yes, please, Russo
Just
brothers,
come up
Please, the Russo brothers, stop.
Yeah.
do a Thor. Thor's pretty cool.
Why don't you remake one of your Avengers movies?
They
Yeah.
will probably.
They probably will 30 years from now.
Yeah, 30 years from now, the
Remake 'em.
Avengers remake.
Yeah.
Just keep
Or
that,
the remake Iron Man within the next 10.
keep that cash register clinging.
Mm-hmm. So you guys got any other closing thoughts or facts? Anything you want to talk about or we missed on this one?
Did we explain the whole things behind the curse, like the deaths?
Oh no, we didn't
That-
actually. It was
you
good.
can finish up with that.
Well
And,
done. Well done.
No, so yeah, there were just a lot of weird deaths surrounding this. I know, like we talked about Heather O'Rourke, the little girl died at like 12 years old from a stomach issue, and it was kind of like odd, like she got sick.
Alleged
Alleged
Crohn's disease.
Yeah, it was just like a bizarre. The things surrounding it, weren't. I don't know. It was just weird. And then the teenage daughter, she was killed by like her boyfriend, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it was
like,
domestic abuse.
And then was it Joe Beth Williams then that died of cancer, or who?
But she had cancer during the filming, correct? Shoot.
Yeah,
I
because
did
I
not
know
know.
there was another death. that somebody had cancer, died of like pancreatic cancer or something along those lines.
Yeah, I didn't have anything written up on, because there was like a whole thing about who died and like when they died, and they just go back to like the whole film being cursed.
Right. Well, like I said, I know there were those two for sure, and there was a third that died, and now the guy in the second one, the old man, he came into filming sick, so they already knew about him. But there was like just weird deaths, like stuff that they obviously tried to tie it to the movie, and then the weird stuff that happened during the filming that they were trying to, oh, maybe there was something to this. But
this was long before them internets, so it was pretty darn tough to fact check,
to disprove anything that you hear, But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I enjoyed watching it, and that type of stuff. I do remember hearing the rumors about all that and how the movie was cursed.
And they were also saying this movie brought like the haunted house feel from like growing up watching 80s, 70s, 80s movies about where you have like the old creepy house, bringing it right into modern day suburbia, like where you're like, this could happen in, my friend's house when I go for a sleepover.
It doesn't have to be a house on the hill or something like that.
It doesn't have to be a scary looking place. It can happen anywhere.
Like an estate. But
so it was kind of given like a nod for that.
I agree. Yeah. I didn't think about that part of it, because I guess movies up to then were like thunder and lightning on the hill.
Yes.
Like just kind of looking imposing.
Which, I mean, they did have a lot of thunder and lightning, which I thought was a little overkill in this movie, like just a bit. But
look, that storms are coming. Bad things are coming.
9 days.
Yeah, man. I think they could have done better work on that staircase.
Yeah.
I hate to be just an obscure rando observation, but that staircase was just odd.
Yeah.
Just a really weird, funky ass shape.
That was part of phase one. That was the phase one staircase.
See, there it is. See, they learned from their mistakes.
Yes.
They might have fixed it.
They weren't doing that in phase 2 or phase 3.
That stairway was like all cockeyed.
Was no stairway to heaven.
No, sir.
For sure not.
That was a stairway to terrible.
Right. No basements there, I guess. I saw they were all slabbed.
You couldn't put a basement in because you built over the cemetery.
Yeah. No old dirty basement.
No old dirty basements there. Just dirty staircase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All in all, I enjoyed this movie. I mean, so watching this, like it's so many of these movies, right? They take you back. They absolutely take you back. I haven't seen this movie in so damn long, and I'm reminded now as I'm in my 40s, that scene with the guy pulling the skin off of his face, it's not nearly as scary as it was when I was
you were
a kid. Just a really good nostalgic film.
That's why a critic said it was silly as you look at it as an adult.
That dude's a hater. He's dead, right?
Yeah, I think they both are.
I think they both are, yeah.
Good.
God bless him.
Yeah, but I agree with Zap. It's a very good nostalgic movie. I think any movie where you can kind of relate to somebody that was around your age, so that little boy was around our age in his room with all the toys,
Star Wars
the
stuff
Rubik's Cube
everywhere,
and the Star Wars and
Clue
the
game.
Clue game and the Atari 2600 there. Well, that was in the dad's room. But
But the dad, like, come on, give Robbie his own room.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
Yeah.
Terrible making all that money.
Right.
Buying a station wagon all brand new.
Yep. But I guess that's it, unless you guys have anything else.
No, I just thought, it was fun. Fun to do this one.
Yeah, so we got another week here of horror movies. So we're going to do Halloween next week. Look forward to that. Don't forget to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement and on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google, and rate our podcast where you can. It helps us grow. Leave us a written review on Apple. Appreciate that.
That's a lot of info, Dave.
Well, hey, got to get it out there. That's how you grow.
Spread the word to Tweety Bird.
That's right. So, tell your friends, let everybody you know. If you're listening and you're enjoying it, definitely spread the word. So we're having fun with it, and I guess that's it. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.